What's up, guys? 4th of November, it's Friday, end of the week. What a wild day, what a wild week as usual, but what a wild day in particular. Commodities and the dollar in focus. Commodities were up very strong today. The dollar was weak. I mean, that's why commodities were up. We're going to look at everything. I didn't take a look at every asset class, at least in detail. We're going to do that together live. I do like my short videos, but this one's going to be a bit longer. Obviously, I have the little menu at the bottom, so you can skip to the asset you like if time is too precious to you. But let's start with the markets now. Yesterday, obviously on Wednesday, it was the Fed day. It was the bearish Fed day when they raised by 75. So we had, that's what this big red bar is, massive engulfing bearish candle. Now that's all nice and cool. But the next day, Thursday, yesterday, we had a sort of soft down day, and I was expecting more. I consider this a doji, and it's the same across all the four major markets. And I thought today we'd have a sort of sideways to update. That's what we had. Sorry. SPY. Let's look at the Nasdaq. And the Nasdaq actually, yeah, yesterday was at the lows. I posted my little video with the "You shall not pass." That's kind of what happened. So we had a little bit of bounce. I do consider this a low and more of a level than this one here, because although this is obviously the low, this one here we had 3 or 4 days where it was trading around that low. So anyway, I got that right, which is nice. The Dow, on the other hand, was much higher, much stronger, and again today was pretty strong. But you can see across the board they had pretty much the same percentage bounce. And I heard Art Cashin, the CNBC veteran, made a comment today which is pretty notable. He said that when you see all of the four major markets up the same, and at the time he was speaking, they were up like 1.55%, so really on the dot. He said that makes him believe that it's high frequency. It's the robots, it's the computers, the algorithms that are doing the buying. And it was a good point, and I mean, he knows more than me, so I have to agree there. That was an interesting concept. So yeah, all of the major markets, all four, the Dow and the Russell, also basically sideways to up really. But again, we're within a range. So I mean, let's see if we can. It's strange because we had we had a very bearish Fed 75 basis point announcement. Market goes down, but there were quite a few anomalies, and I pointed them out yesterday and maybe even on Wednesday. And one of them was that the VIX was constantly red. I mean, look at this. This is just in red slide, and there's no green here for I don't even know how many days. This might even be a record or something. It's just red. And you had these big drops in the market on Fed speak day, and there's no green here. And that was really weird. And yesterday too was a new low, even though the market was red by, what was it, 1% on average. And again, you got the VIX down. And if the VIX is red, the markets are basically going to go up. So it's something weird going on. And normally when something weird's going on, I tend to believe that the market's going to crash. But here, something weird's going on with the market crashing. So it's probably the opposite. I don't know. But one of the other weird anomalies I picked up, besides Bitcoin being just strangely weak on both directions, was commodities. And we're going to get to that. Obviously, I'm eager to get to it. But so just to summarize, the markets sideways up. We got that right, 1%. I'm not bullish or bearish right now. If I had to err on a side, it would be bullish. Yeah, I'd actually be bullish, even though we've done 75 basis points, and fundamentally the markets are screwed. The debts, everything's going to crack and break, but don't fight the tape. It looks strong. And the thing is, if we go up a little bit, let's just stick to the SPY here. Okay, 3.5%, 4%. It would take at least 2 good days, maybe 3. Let's see what happens. And the weekend stuff can happen. You've got a war going on, quite a few. But if we get to there, then we're going to go all the way up there. And then we can see what's going on. But I think next Fed meeting, which is in December, obviously we're a month away, I think they're going to do 50 basis points, which I still think is bearish. But if the market sees that as bullish, and if they've priced it all in, maybe we break out by then and go up let's not get ahead of ourselves. I don't want the markets to go up. I want them to go down. I've got a lot of cash on the sidelines. And it's funny, yesterday with everything going down in my portfolio, I was just thinking, my God, why have I got so much in, even though I've sort of, I've been pricing in these drops. I've been bearish the whole time. And then today, and you'll see the portfolio, everything's up really strong. I'm thinking, why have I got too little in? So either way, I'm not satisfied, and that's when you're getting dragged from one side to another. Okay, anyway, we're gonna get to the exciting part. So market sideways up, VIX still acting weird. Obviously, it was red today on a green market day, so at least that makes sense. But yeah, and also the DAX, by the way, look at that, continued the breakout. That's actually been stronger than the US markets, interestingly enough. So that would be the same as sort of the SPY being here above 390. So the DAX is outperforming in the very short term. And it's not like the US markets then took over and started to go down. I mean, they closed pretty nicely, near their highs. So Europe is also outperforming, which is also a bit strange. Let's move to, no, let's do yields, stick to the same order. Yields were down, which makes sense, but they weren't really crazy down. So, I mean, they're just retracing from highs because they basically, let's stick to the daily, sorry. They basically made new highs yesterday. So they're just retracing the high. It's nothing out of this world. That's the 2 year, probably the most important one, the 5 year, the 10 year, sideways up. So yields are still hovering near their highs, creeping up or just retracing to break out. Interestingly, the 30 years still creeping up. So yields are not exactly going down. And if we look at the other yields across Europe, they're still creeping up too. So yields are not exactly leading markets higher. I think it's the markets are going higher despite yields going up there. So that's interesting too. Quite a few disconnects. Let's look at currencies, and this is pretty special. Now, dollar yesterday we creeped up to sort of resistance zone, maybe not yet inch perfect, but basically we're there. I don't know why. I know there's a few news events. I didn't pay too much attention. Maybe I should have. Every day there's a few. I could probably find out what they are. I'm not going to do that live, but it's I don't know if it's PMI or ISM manufacturing. Maybe none of the above, but there were one or two news events, and maybe that's what triggered it. But basically, the dollar went down. And please, if someone knows, maybe I'll read on it later. But I don't know what the trigger was. Was it at a particular time? You could say, I don't know, maybe even not. But the dollar went down pretty strong. I mean, a 2% drop in the DXY is big. Likewise, a 2% move up in the euro is big. And let's see if we can take out one euro dot, 1 unit parity and then run. US dollar, Japanese yen, that went down. Okay, we've been down here before, nothing major. The pound back up. I mean, it's basically swinging back a bit. Australian dollar, which is basically a commodity currency. Likewise, the Canadian dollar, very strong. It's more like a commodity based day, I would say. This was really about commodities today. The others don't count so much, and we're not going to compare the euro pound. We've already looked at both anyway against the dollar. Oh yeah, interesting. The dollar down against the Chinese yuan. Ruble's just going sideways. Turkish lira getting destroyed every day, but okay, today it made some ground against the dollar. But I mean, look at the Turkish lira. You've got to just respect that. That's wild. Anyway, the dollar down. Now let's see what might happen because we're still within the range. It's not bearish yet, although it's a hell of a day. Yeah, I'd say 110 just below 109. 109 to 110 is support. If we start to lose that, then basically I'd say we go down to 105. So watch out with this little zone here. This one we can move here. So it's getting tighter, the ranges, but again, I'd like to find out what really triggered it, if anything, or was it just technical? Very, very interesting, very important. The dollar also being down should support the markets rather than vice versa. It's not like the market goes up, therefore the dollar goes down. So And because of that, we will now look at commodities. And this is wild. Let's start by looking at copper, which I rarely look at, although I looked at it yesterday. And I did say I was more likely to be bullish than bearish, but that's pretty high. We've closed at resistance. I mean, I haven't even drawn the trend lines here, but okay, up here, whatever, we can see we're kind of at a zone that it topped out at a few times. And then just above that, we've also got a bit of a, this is now obsolete. So yeah, that's a general area. Not ideal, but okay, so copper is touching a resistance point. Next one just a little bit higher. Don't know how much percentage. 2%, not much. We could retrace next week. Again, I mean, we're gonna have to, this is a commodity move, it's not specific to copper, but very interesting, huge move. How often does that happen? It's pretty rare. Close at the high of day. Huge move in copper, natural gas. And this is, I believe, US natural gas. Natural gas does move quite wildly. 9% is still pretty significant. And you can see we've just come out of this consolidation zone. So maybe we're going to move back up. First stop $7, then keep going, maybe 8, then 9. Yeah, simple, just in $1 increments. But natural gas also strong like copper. Oil, right? That's pretty significant. Mid-90s, previous resistance. I can get rid of some of these trend lines now. They're not really relevant anymore. Even this one, etc. Clean it up. Next, nice and simple, 97, then 1023. $100 isn't even resistance, which makes sense because if you're going to get to 100, you break through. So 97 and a bit, 103-ish. Let's see. And taking out 100 will set the computers off. I mean, they'll go on a buying spree there too. They'll push it higher. But oil, 5%, pretty big move. We've seen crazy moves in oil. Crazy moves, 10, 15%, I think even more. But still, 5% nice and strong. Palladium, I never really look at these, but you can see it's forming a bit of a bottom down here. Platinum reached its resistance, looking for a move higher to 1,000, above 1,000, let's say. So that's nice. I mean, look at this this is how you form a bottom. Up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, test, hit the ceiling, breach, come back down, test the breach, maybe go higher, we'll see. That's really nice. That's really nice back and forth fill. And if we break out there, we'll get double resistance, let's say. Very nice. Wheat, soybeans. Now obviously this is gold and silver. This is the focus of my channel, at least for now. So gold, absolutely amazing. I was bearish gold 2 days ago after the Fed meeting. It was already kind of underperforming. Then it closed at low of day, just sort of shooting star down. And then yesterday, I was surprised. I mean, I thought we'd go to 1620. We did. Although I did make a note. I said, look, it's kind of impressive that it held. But what was more impressive, and I want to come back to gold also, was silver. And that also, I mean, that's just unbelievable strength. And because of silver's strength, I thought, okay, let's see. But today, I mean, again, I don't know what triggered the dollar going down. Gold was already up when I woke up, but gold can reverse its gains during the day, so that's nothing special. But being up $50, and not only did we close at the high of day, but also above this resistance line, where it's kind of been failing for several trading days, let's say 2 weeks. But we also closed above, and I was saying it's getting tighter and tighter down here. I mean, I don't need to draw the obvious line down here, but look how tight it's getting. We closed above both. Now, I don't want to be too picture perfect here, but I think it's pretty much above both. And anyway, it doesn't matter. You just got to watch the market. You can tell it's strong. Just the whole day. As soon as it started to come down after being strong, and it gets bought up and makes a new high. Gold, very strong. And now I think 1720 is easily in the cards. And this is a real breakout. This is a long term. This is my favorite kind of breakout. And, the dollar, it's yes, okay, it went down, but it's got a long way down to go. If we go back to the dollar, you zoom out, the dollar looks very extended still. So it looks like the dollar was just gold was just waiting for the dollar to drop. And if you look at the gold and silver in different currencies, which I haven't done in a long time, I mean, look at that. That's it's not exactly down by much. So you got to remember it's the dollar that's been going up all this time. If all these other people were buying gold in their local currencies, whilst all the stocks around the world and their currencies get destroyed, they're holding gold. I mean, how much are they down? Imagine they bought the absolute peak, which is rare anyway. They're not even down 10%, whilst the whole world's crashing. So I think gold's got to be respected here. And this is at the bottom. We're coming out here. I mean, this is just the start. Because once you get up here, yeah, you can be cute and sell a bit, which is probably what I'll try and do. But it's probably just going to keep going up 1800 and then maybe come down. And by the time it's 1800, a lot of people who are in different currencies of the world are just seriously in profit. Because this market crushing that's happened since the beginning of the year, it's mainly been a dollar story, dollar going up, as well as the market's going down, obviously. So anyway, gold, very, very bullish, clutching a victory from the jaws of defeat, let's say. Technically very strong. Let's see what happens on Monday. Next resistance for me is 1720, which means 1719, even though it'll probably go a little higher. Very nice. Silver, which has just been a monster for ever since this area here, late July. I remember this breakout. I spoke about it. Very impressive. Sold it basically. Came back down here. Then I remember what's that trader? Nick Santiago? Is that his name? Is it Nick? Yeah, very good trader. He actually called the bottom at 18 and it's just screamed up since then. And it basically never hit 18 again, really. It touched it here, went all the way up. And it's just been super strong, like silver squeeze style strong. And today, look at that. We close a high of day. And I did mention 21 being resistance. I think I said it yesterday. Basically, we touched it, maybe just kissed it. We didn't actually, but it's the same thing. And with gold being where it is, and gold looking for 1720, which is another $40, which is a huge move, you can imagine silver going there. And then what does the chart look like? Let's say we have another move up in gold. Well, silver's been strong. It's definitely going to move up again. We get to 22. And then you're just going to have everyone saying that's it, the bottom's in. If there's ever a retrace down back to 20 or even just below, it'll be bought up. And who knows, then the next resistance obviously is all the way up here, mid-20s. And then we're back to where we've been trading all this time. But if silver goes to mid-20s, I mean, then you're talking about gold being at the, 1800s or higher. Which is not, unbelievable because gold just was at 2100 when Russia invaded. So silver is seriously outperforming recently. Yeah, very impressive. Kind of speechless almost. Next resistance is here. Let's see what happens. We could have a bit of a retracement because it was just a bit too wild. But the dips will be bought. And again, it's mainly a question of the DXY, the dollar, and all the other currencies, the euro, the pound, the Japanese yen. So very impressive. Now, actually, the creme de la creme, the miners, it's rare that they're up the same. Let's start with GDX, the seniors. Look at this beauty. Very bearish looking yesterday. I remember the GDXJ was stronger than the GDX, so the juniors were stronger than the seniors yesterday. That was also impressive, although we've seen that a bit lately, especially with silver outperforming gold lately, because a lot of the little silver stocks make up the GDXJ, whereas the GDX is mainly big gold producers. Obviously you get the silver ETFs that are made for that, but I stick to GDXJ as barometers. So stick to GDX, very bullish, closed the high of day just underneath this descending line. Again, if we have any continuation in gold, if gold tests 17, is it 17? Yeah, 1700. Wow, we've got a long way to go. And then you can expect GDXs to be testing up here 26. I mean, for sure, 1700 is a nice psychological number. The computers will love that. So they'll pump the gold and silver indexes also. So for sure, if gold's testing 1700 or higher, you'll get the miners up here. I think asking for another 10% move is a bit much. Maybe 1720 will get it there, but that's your next resistance. GDXJ has taken out the descending line, closed higher than the previous days over here. So GDXJ is stronger than GDX, and it's got even less percentage move to travel, and it usually moves more anyway. So if gold's testing 1700, no offense, but we're going to be up here. And if we're anywhere near 1720, for sure GDXJ is testing up there. And then, I mean, imagine you get a chart where the candle's up here. This is like a bottom that you're not going to see again. At least that'll be the impression you get once the candle's there. So it's amazing how you look back and you think, oh, that was the bottom. And maybe that's what happens. Although, if the market makes new lows in 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, then I still think the miners have to go back down. That's just the way it works. But right now, extremely bullish, even after a 10% move. I didn't even sell anything. What did I sell today? Oh yeah, I trimmed a little bit of Yamana and Goldfields, but that's something else. Let's look at the portfolio, mainly because it's the gold and silver stocks. So Barrick Gold, which I bought yesterday because it got crushed on earnings, and it was a very small holding. I got way too much in Newmont, not enough in Barrick, so I was rebalancing a bit there. But Barrick Gold, huge mine. You typically see that up 2 or 3%. 8% is just wild. But look at that, very low. Obviously, it had bad earnings, so it's underperforming the general sector, and such a long way to go. I mean, look at that. Basically, yesterday it was touching its March 2020 lows. Newmont, same sort of thing. Just didn't get crushed as much the last 2 days, even though it had bad earnings. Dividends here is very wild. I think it's over 5%, nearing 6%. Agnico Eagle today normally would be very, very strong, although it was linked to a buyout offer with Yamana, partner with Pan America. So actually, Agnico and Pan America suffered today because they intend to buy out Yamana, AUY, which is up 20%. But still, Agnico Eagle managed to claw back. Basically, it was unchanged at some point, and now it almost closed 5-6%. So that's very impressive. Wheaton, strong, very strong. And this chart looks different to the GDXJ sector. This one, a small, I think it had earnings today. I didn't even get a chance to look at all of them. I own so many. But, who cares what the news is? Because the chart is telling you what the market thinks, whether there's news or not. So news doesn't really matter all the time. Any sort of continuation next week, gold at 17 or 1720, silver, this is just coming out of the lows, and there's the bottom, a nice round bottom. Very nice. I love this. So that's Wheaton. Pan America, it was linked with the buyout. I bought a little bit of this. I think 1430. But great stock, great company, and it's going to buy a wonderful company. And plus, I saw all the gold and silver up strong, so I thought, let's buy. Although I should buy on a red day, but I got a bit excited, so I just bought a little bit. Nothing crazy. Mag Silver didn't touch it, totally broken out. It's been strong for a while. It's been outperforming for a while. It doesn't surprise me that it's already taken out this next stop. Very simply 1550, 1549. Trim a little bit there and let it break out. If it doesn't, who cares? I'll buy it because it's super strong anyway on a pullback. Very nice. That's Mag Silver. Yamana. This is the beautiful girl that everyone wants. So it was originally Goldfields that wanted to buy it. GFI. And I started to buy more on the drop because I thought the Goldfields would buy it at a premium. And then today, out of nowhere, there's Ignico with Pan America that come together and say, no, we'll buy Yamana for even more. So Yamana's just screaming up because everyone wants it. Goldfield goes up because I think the shareholders of Goldfields are happy with Goldfields not buying Yamana, I suppose. I don't know, whatever. It's all this it's like a little playground, boys and girls, but very nice moves, plus on a beautiful day. So Yamana up very strong at resistance. I sold it at 493, I believe. I saw it go for 5. I didn't sell, and then I could tell it was going to lose it and not come back. And that was at the beginning of the day. Trimmed a little bit. I don't own much anymore of Yamana. If it comes down, I doubt it will. I'll probably buy a bit more because it's almost guaranteed to go back up with what's coming. Goldfields, I trimmed a little bit too and just left the rest. Beautiful day with these two. But I don't want to trade myself out of a position. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, look, I want a certain amount of money in this stock. Imagine it's $5,000. If I have 6,000, I just take off 1,000. And if it comes back down here and it's worth 4,000, I'll just add another 1,000. So at all times, I want a certain value attributed to the mine as long as I still believe in it. So it's a good way of thinking because when everything's wild, you just know how much to sell, without overthinking. So anyway, Grand Columbia that got destroyed yesterday. I actually bought some of this, but a while ago when it was down here. So what's the point in buying? Even down here, I thought it wasn't enough away from my buy. It wasn't down enough, so I left it. And today we're basically where I bought it. It was 213, I think, or 215. So left it. Now my silver beauties. To be honest, because I was on holiday, I'd sold here. I didn't buy anything back because I was on holiday. And then I forgot, I basically haven't traded these. So I've actually already sold First Majestic where it is, roughly where it is. And I can tell because of the value it's at right now. But I remember also the numbers I sold at. So, and the same goes for Keltachlen. I've already sold this zone. I forgot to buy here, so there's nothing to sell, if you know what I mean. So I basically left these. They're all flagging near their highs, just doing exactly what I expect, just hovering near the highs along with silver, and the GDX is ready to scream up. And these things can just, 100% very quickly. Fortuna, it's really these four. These are my favorite four. Fortuna looks set actually for a move up here to mid threes. Fortitude, I think, has an 8% dividends. I was looking at it yesterday and I thought, nah, I want it at $5. And then we're back at 550. It's nothing. It didn't move much on the downside, didn't move much today, whatever. These are still acting as, I did actually trim this a little bit in the 19s, but not enough. And now I feel stupid. But this is basically dead money. I don't mean that I'm never going to see it again. It's just the stock isn't moving. In fact, a bit like Termalena, the stocks are not moving. I do expect a crazy move all of a sudden, and when that happens, I'll trim straight away. But these are just ignore. Rain of Silver started to move. I already bought it in the low 20s, so I'm going to see if I can sell it 2789 actually as a sell. And Discovery Silver, a really nice silver stock, one of the best of the best for sure. I bought it at 77 and I thought that was a bit too high. I forgot where it was. I bought it at 77 on one of these days. But I remember seeing it in the 60s. So I didn't want to buy any more because I thought, we're going down. Let's buy some at 60s, maybe even lower. That's what the circle here is for. And basically today I ended up chasing it at 82, which is higher than where it closed. So, and I knew I was chasing it. It's just if silver and the miners break out, this thing will be above 1 immediately. And I don't want to just miss out on, I guess it's FOMO, isn't it? But this is one of the best silver stocks. And I just know for a fact that if silver and the miners go up, this thing's going up. It's a matter of fact for me. So I sort of chased this one. But I was underweight anyway, so it's okay. So those are the miners. You can tell it's a beautiful day. Let's just see if there's any follow through. But I feel like gold and silver putting a bit of a bottom here. And I'm aware that I also think the markets are going down, so it's kind of this contradictory viewpoint. But I've still got a lot of money in the sidelines. And today I was, when you see these types of numbers and the account was up huge today, I just felt stupid not having more in. But then yesterday I felt stupid having what I thought was too much in. So, it's this is when the psychology of trading comes in. Anyway, beautiful day. Let's keep it simple. Let's move on to, I might as well look at the other stocks. So this is Trillion. This is another stock. This is oil and gas. Actually, let's look at the Canadian ticker. It was up very strong actually today, almost 11%. And that is because of some news. Very good stock. It's kind of bucked the trend of the general market, but when you're dealing with gas, selling it to Europe, you can imagine how profitable they are. So this I'm leaving for a nice run higher. I'm looking for 100% from here actually. Tilray, that's moved nicely recently because of the midterms and the promise of federal legalizing weed federally. But they always pretend they play this game for the midterms. So I've already trimmed a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if it just comes back down, especially after the midterms. But if there's a pop, I'll sell the whole thing. Mind Medicine, I traded this one up here and then it bought back, and actually I'm down on it now. I'm down on this trade. I'm not in too much at all. It's just a psychedelic trade. I know nothing about the sector, so I didn't put too much in. But still, the loss is more than I thought I would incur. And now we're at multi whatever lows. So I'm just leaving it. I don't think I'm going to add to it. I think I'm going to trade my way out of it on the sell side. Like if it goes all the way down, okay, whatever. I lose. If it goes to zero, I lose everything. It's not really a problem. That won't happen, I don't think. But then if it starts to move up, I'm going to sell my way out of it. Especially if we start to fill this gap, I'll be all out. So these two are kind of lumped together like weed and psychedelics. They're just, I don't know if you can call that a particular sector, but yeah. So that's probably the worst trade I own. Thank God I didn't put much in it. Oatly, this I don't really know why I got into this. It's because a friend sort of traded it all the way up here, and then I was just watching it for him. And then when I saw how destroyed it got, I thought, okay, actually, I might just buy this now. I mean, you're down 90 something percent. But then again, you got loads of stocks that are down this much. At this rate, it's Oatly, that milk, sort of alternative milk. What's it based on? Oats. And I actually like that kind of milk, almond and all that stuff. So I actually buy some. I think I'm supporting my share price there, but this could break out of the downtrend. And it will probably trade with general stocks. If the markets go up, then this will go up. I'm down on it a little bit, but I've got very little in it. It's more of a fun trade, and I would like to trade it on the way up here. Actually, I look forward to that. I think my average is around high twos or three. So although it's a 50% move to get out, that's pretty quick. It's very quickly. Yeah, I mean, this would be the next serious resistance. Yeah, it should be pretty easy to get out of actually. Paramount, this is a very famous big stock. It's a la Netflix style. I think Warren Buffett's in it, although that doesn't mean much either these days. But I added to it, is it yesterday? I think yesterday I added to it around 1601 or something. I just feel like, and I think they had bad earnings, but whatever. It's not going bankrupt. It's Paramount, and I like some of their movies. I feel like this will sort of curl and go back up. If the market goes down, it will go lower. But I'm ready for that. I don't have too much in it, but still, I got more. I think I've got more in Paramount than I have in maybe than all three of these combined, or about the same amount. So that's how little I've got in these three. But Paramount, I've got a decent holding. I'm not too worried about that. A lot of people are in much higher in Paramount. So, and my average, I think, is 20. I think it's 20, which is obvious resistance, by the way. Now, Hive, this one I've added to today, and my average is around 30 something, 311 or something, because I've been owning it here. I sold this beautifully. I bought back a little bit here, a little bit. I forgot where there. Basically, I don't know how many times I went into this, but I don't have too much. But I'm looking for a pop, and I'll get back to crypto later. I feel like Bitcoin could go up. It did go up today. It's moving a bit inversely to the dollar, so it's a bit like the commodities. And now I don't consider it a commodity at all, but it's trading that way. At least it was today. And I think over the weekend it could make a bit of a move, maybe 25,000 Bitcoin. So that's why I bought Hive, even though the crypto stocks were very weak. And I would never normally buy a crypto stock if it's acting weak when the underlying asset, Bitcoin, is strong. But I just feel like Bitcoin will make a move this weekend, and come Monday, this will be up, a decent amount. So it's kind of a weekend trade, blind. Plus it's at its lows, and I don't own that much, and I'm looking for a move ultimately of Bitcoin down to like 10,000. So that's how I build a position. You got to have something you got to have some skin in the game. So I bought that today added that today just for a small move at the weekend. Then I have my 3D tech stocks. This one's been silent for a while, but outperforming the sector. It just did nothing. NNDM I bought yesterday. This move after it retraced all the way down to 261 or something I bought, 262. It was just some big shareholder saying he was ready to go private. It was a rumor. It retraced. I think it's a real rumor. I don't really care. But to be honest, I zoom out. It's been destroyed. It's a real company. It has good earnings. This could run a lot over the next couple of years. This is actually the only sector I'm confident in besides commodities. So gold and silver I own, and some other commodity related stocks, but otherwise 3D printing I think is very futuristic. I think it's the real thing. It's just whether I get lucky with the stocks. So since I don't know them too well, I'm spreading myself out, and I'm happy to go into this stock here at these lows. The other 3D stock, because DM is also a 3D stock, the other 3D stock is Triple D. And I bought that today. So I bought NNDM yesterday. I bought Triple D today. And basically my average is where we are. And same with NNDM, my average is actually down here. And because initially I held DM as my only stock, and I actually held it through this bad earnings. I've traded my way out of it very well. I've reduced my average. I don't know where it is. It's basically within this range now. So I'm very happy to have skipped all of this destruction. And now I've added these other 3D stocks at their lows. So I basically own 3D stocks at real lows. Now they can go lower. I want them to, because there are other 3D stocks I want to add. I want to own about 10 of them because I don't know which one's going to make it or which ones are going to make it. But I do know that they run like 1,000% when their sector has their turn to run. So very happy owning 3D stocks. There was one of them that was down 30% today, though, on bad earnings. I think it's PRLB. So I dodged that bullet. I need to learn a bit more about 3D stocks, but I think I'm in the right ones so far. Finally, here's the 3D stocks all under ARK. PRNT is the 3D ETF. This is the next one I want to buy. And look, they've all got the same sort of chart pattern. Here's your PRLB got slaughtered to new historic lows. And here's some other ones: VJet, VLD, and Materialize. I think this one is, just destroyed. I mean, look at the percentage moves. Obviously, this doesn't happen like that, but you can dream. Look at that 1,000% basically to get back to where it was. Absolutely wild. Anyway, just to finish the portfolio, BHP. This is a BHP Group. It's similar to Rio Tinto, Freeport McMoran, and Glencore, the sort of big metal resource stocks, I guess you should call them. I don't think it had any news. It just acted like the other miners. Dollar down, bam, huge move up, which is similar to, yeah, look, Rio and Freeport, massive. Look at Rio, it's taken out as a descending line, closed above it, 10% move. I don't think there was any news on this either. Freeport, wow, very strong, closed above resistance, 11% move. So these guys have just been, and they pay a nice dividend too. So very, very strong, very good stocks to own. Congratulations, those who own it. So I didn't sell anything. I mean, normally, yeah, I would sell this because look, we're at resistance, but nah, good dividend. If it comes down, I'll buy it, but I'm not selling here. I don't own enough of it actually, to be honest. So I wasn't going to sell any. Meta absolutely detests this company, but I bought the stock at sorry, at 100 actually, or 100.9 the day at the horrible earnings. I think I bought it pre-market or just when the market opened, whatever. So I guess I'm down 10% on it, but got very little amount in it. To be honest, this actually looks okay now. Just looking at the daily, you extend this, goes up here, drops a little bit more, breaks out, and then probably 1 or 2 days later, it's testing 100, and then you got everyone who chases it into the gap fill. But for that, you need the Nasdaq to go up. But yeah, I don't know. The market was up 1.5%, so you'd expect this at least. Nothing major, but this is a great trend line to trade it. Think about it. You're buying Facebook. It's a real company. Yeah, it's overvalued. Yeah, it's crap. They're political. I agree. But it's a real company. It's not going bankrupt. And it's down 76%. So, and you're buying it after earnings and in a bear market. So if this now starts to break out of a short-term technical downtrend line, I mean, the chance of it making a nice run is huge in my opinion. So I actually might add to Meta if I see the breakout, whether it happens here or if it happens in 3 weeks, it goes there, it fails, and it goes here and breaks out of 89. Whenever it takes out of this with volume and with a market that supports it and no news coming up soon, that's how I would trade it. So I'm happy it's come down since I bought it because I want to buy a bit more and just trade it. Just want to make some money out of Meta, sell it and throw it away because it's a trashy company, no offense. Alibaba is another stock I've owned. I chased it when I started to hear the rumors that China was going to come out of its lockdown. When was that? 2 or 3 days ago? I think it was at 67. It was not the low, which is annoying. I was on holiday here. I saw it didn't do anything. I think it was this day after the big move up. The next day, I don't know, whatever, 67 bought it. Overall, good stock, good company. The Amazon of China. Yeah, you could have bought it a little lower. I bought it here. To be honest, it's the exact same thing. Now we're going to break out of this downtrend line. It's still not guaranteed yet. We did close lower than we opened, but same as Meta really. Once you break out of this downtrend line, you can expect a bit of a move forward as long as the conditions are still suitable. By that, I mean no news, no macro news coming up that could violently change the markets, no micro news coming up related to the stock. And as long as the markets are sort of okay and not crashing, then you could probably trade it. But I think it's a good stock, a good company. To be honest, I don't want to add too much. I don't want to, he who defends everywhere is weak everywhere. So I don't really want to own too much because then you become distracted and can't perform well enough. But I own quite a lot of stocks. Obviously, all of these guys fall under the metals. But then you've got oil and gas, you got weed, you got psychedelics, you got wheat, you got was it streaming, crypto, 3D printing, resource. It's becoming a bit too crazy, so I might have to clean it up soon. But anyway, that's the portfolio, which will make this video a nice long one. I'll just end on crypto, I believe. No, actually, let me cover uranium because uranium is also a commodity and it did not act like the others. Okay, it was up 2.5%, not as wild as the others, but the stocks were not exactly crazy. And if you look at the main ones like Cameco, which I want to get into pretty badly, that was red today, which tells me this thing will go lower because the markets were up, the dollar was down, uranium was up, stocks were up, and this thing's down. I mean, it had all the conditions to go up, and it's making lower lows. It's nearing this trend line. If we lose 21, we're gonna touch 20, maybe just bounce a little bit, and then bam, we could drop. And then little vultures like myself will come in and buy it around 18, small, 16, medium, just machine gun my way in there. So uranium wasn't as strong as the other commodities. Oil, bit like uranium, wasn't that strong. It's had a crazy run. I'm not looking at oil. Sorry, oil was up, 5%. We said that, but the oil stocks, but they all made basically new 52-week highs, new record highs actually. And there are some very persuasive articles out there saying that oil is still cheap where it is, and some oil stocks too, given the dividends they pay and their future prospects. So, but today they were pretty muted. And Petrobras, this is one I really want to own. Reminds me of the uranium chart a little bit, at least since here. That also may drop soon, but this is because of the Lula victory in Brazil. I don't know. Should I do a starter position here? I still think oil might drop a little bit. I don't know. I'm not going to act crazy just yet. I've got enough on my plate, but I like this stock, which is why I have the little red banner on it. I shouldn't have a red here. Biotech was red. I'm not a fan of biotech. It's just one or two that I quite like, such as this one. China, I forgot to mention, China had a crazy day because there are more rumors of the lockdown ending. Basically, I don't know what the point of this lockdown is. Is it a domestic clampdown? Is it to prepare for Taiwan? Is it to hurt the Western markets, to remove the consumption element, since Western economies basically are consumption based, and the East, sorry, provide a lot of the supply for them to consume. Basically, if China locks down, it hurts the West. And since the Western economies are already suffering, if they can add to that insult by locking down, then they'll do it. So basically, they hurt themselves as long as they can hurt the West. I don't know. But then there's also the argument that they didn't have their own vaccine, so without a vaccine, they can't open up. So either they invent their own vaccine or steal our own IP address to create their own, and then they can open up their economies. Or they can say maybe they've beaten the virus. I don't know. I mean, obviously, this is. I don't want to get into it too much, but the point is, there were rumors that they would open up soon, and hence why a lot of these Chinese stocks now, Alibaba, we saw was up, was it 6-7%? Here's some other ones. There's IQ, Kindies. Wow, it's been up for quite a few days in a row. I didn't realize that. This is just a car company, nothing special. I should have paid attention to this downtrend line breakout. That's how it works. Neo, that's coming out of that. This is like the Tesla of China or something, no? JD, nice breakout there. Very tight downtrend line. Closed pretty much a resistance. Baidu, I think this is like a Facebook of China. Look at that, completely at its lows. Wow, this is a good area to buy. Roku, I think, had bad news the other day, bad earnings. Yeah, it did. And then it opened and closed. Well, it opened at the low of day, close there, very bullish. Today retraced a bit. And obviously we have Alibaba, which I own, which did okay also. So China had a nice day. Let's see if those rumors actually materialize though. And then we have some large caps. I'm not going to go over them because it still make the video way too long. Large caps, nothing to speak of. Okay, DraftKings got destroyed probably on earnings. That'll go to new lows for sure. But nothing really wild. AMD and Nvidia, okay. But 5% being the maximum, nothing crazy when you compare it to what happened to commodities. Today was commodities. Now I'll end with crypto because I said it in one of my Telegram groups, but yeah, I did think that crypto today would make a run when I started to see it move, and it seems to have continued, which is why I bought Hive, the crypto stock. I've kind of been unable to call crypto for a few weeks because it's just like it broke out of this downtrend. I expected it to run and it didn't. Then I got bearish, then it went back up, and I didn't really know. But now I can say that I'm a little bit bullish. Obviously, I bought Hive, so I really do believe it. I think we actually get 25,000. But for that, you need the dollar to go down. I think the dollar going down is what motivates crypto at the moment more than the market, which sounds a bit strange. But again, I still find it hard to call, but I found it easier to decide to buy the crypto stock. So let's see what happens. Target 25,000. We probably don't get there this weekend. We might get it 22, but already quite a nice move. Ethereum, you can see, is also similar. 2,000 is the target for that one. Litecoin is already outperforming, and actually this downtrend line, it's taken it out. We've seen a few altcoins move. Look, now you got Matic going up. Loop ring, what was it the other day? It was banned or something. Where is that? Ban had a crate. Look at that. This is old school stuff. And then Dogecoin, I think after Elon bought Twitter, look at that. So, you got crypto making some moves to the upside. So maybe it just needed to be shook up a little bit, even if it was just some altcoins moving first, like Doge. But yeah, long term, not bullish, not yet, not even for the general markets, but commodities, crypto. Yeah. Anyway, very sorry for the long video. I try to go through it quickly. It was an awesome day, especially for the commodity lovers, especially for gold and silver. And we've got those anomalies, we've got the market going up even after the 75 basis point. We've got the VIX going down even when the market was down yesterday and the day before. We've got the dollar going down. We've got silver outperforming. Some of the miners outperforming, the junior miners outperforming the seniors. We've got China opening up. Things are happening. So yeah, have a good weekend, and I'll look forward to making the next video. Cool.